before you teach a lesson like this, you need to make sure that everyone in your class is on a WhatsApp group and that you're also on it. And you just need to make sure that your PC is set up so that whatever appears on your phone is appearing on the screen, projected screen. That's possible by searching for WhatsApp web.
Okay. Hello again. Do you remember what we studied last week?
Yes.
What was it?
Adverbs of frequency.
Adverbs of frequency, yeah. Do you know which tense they normally go with? I often do this, I usually do that.
Present.
Present, simple, continuous. Continuous. Try again.
Present continuous.
Try again, it's the other one.
Present
Present simple, yeah. I often go swimming at the weekend.
This is what the trainees are looking at on the board.
Are these adverbs of frequency in the right order? If
No.
you're looking at which one's 100%, which one's 0?
No.
Okay, how do we put them back in the right order? Okay. Which one's 100%?
Always. Always.
Okay, that's correct. And then what's next?
Often.
No?
Sometimes. Usually.
Usually, yeah. We're all on the same WhatsApp group, aren't we?
Yes.
Okay. Have your phones ready. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use these adverbs of frequency in a sentence. It might be a correct sentence. It might be wrong because the adverb is in the wrong place. For example, I go usually to the gym. Is the adverb in the right place then?
No.
What would be correct?
I usually go.
Usually go to the gym, so between the subject and the verb. Or the meaning might be very unlikely. For example, I never go swimming because I love it. And you might think, oh, maybe never's not the right word there. It possibly should be always. Okay. So I'm just going to type these sentences into the WhatsApp group. If you think it's correct, give it a thumbs up. If you think it's wrong, correct it. And I realise there might be, you'll all be doing it, so there might be a few sentences appearing at the same time, but I'll try to respond to the ones I can to say if you're correct or not, if you make a correction. Okay. So is it just me writing?
No.
Okay, what are you going to do? Okay, that's good. You should be receiving the next message now.
I'm using an iPhone 8, so it's a bit advanced.
That's too advanced.
Often. Rarely.
Send that.
I was gonna say sometimes.
Send that and send the other one and say the other option would be. And send that.
Really?
Okay, we've got one here. Caroline is saying I usually cycle to work. I do it once or twice a week. Okay. Usually it's closer, yeah. I'm thinking maybe sometimes, but usually, it's definitely closer. I sometimes cycle to work. Yeah, that's more or less what I was thinking. Okay, can you write a sentence, please, with an adverb of frequency and present simple? Just type it in, something you do, normally do, or you sometimes do, or you never do, something about your normal routine, and we'll just read your sentences and give you a thumbs up if we like it. If it's not correct, we're going to put in the correct one. Okay?
These are some of the sentences resulting from the freer practice, including one about someone not brushing their teeth.
I eat those often. Yeah? You could put the adverb there. It could also go in the middle. Dimitri, that's not quite right. Okay. I never brush my teeth, Anthony. Okay. Well, maybe you should think about that.
So that's your routine. They're supposed to correct me.
And then that's correct me to do that.
But what if you never brush your teeth?
I often go to church on Sundays.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Now, in in Globozaki, I didn't know that was your. Is that you? Okay.
I often go to church on Sunday. It's correct.
What do you think is wrong with it?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
So she could
Nor
go
do
on
I.
a Saturday.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with it. You can write a correct sentence.
I never go to gym every day.
Okay.
I go to church every Sunday, but the thing is, she doesn't do it every Sunday.
No, sometimes she just stays in bed and sleeps. Okay. We're going to move on to the next activity now, and it's going to work like this. I'm going to post a recording to the group and play it. It's a recording I've made describing a typical weekend for me. Actually, a typical weekend for my wife and I. What do we normally do? What do we sometimes do? What do we often do? And actually, there's some similarities to what you've written here, except for the brushing my teeth part.
Who's that?
Well, I can't break his anonymity. Now, listen to the recording and just make a note so that you can answer the question, is it similar or different to your typical weekend? So, what are you going to do when you listen?
To know whether it's similar or not with my typical.
Okay, yeah, so just make one or two notes. Now, it's a little bit quiet, so you'll need to be a little bit quiet yourselves so that you can hear it. On a typical weekend, on Friday nights we normally go to cinema if there's something good on. I sometimes work on Saturday mornings. In the afternoons we might just relax, possibly see friends in the evening sometimes. Sunday is more regular. We go to church in the morning and then normally have lunch at home, maybe see family, but more often than not just kind of relax and unwind really. Okay, just tell your partner for a minute if that's similar or different to your typical weekend.
Fridays. Yeah,
Friday.
Saturday.
I'm stressing about my
Certain days are similar, but not every day.
Okay,
Yeah.
so funny, tell us something.
On Friday, I'm stressing about my TP. I leave the office at around 8-ish, 9-ish,
Friday night.
Friday night.
You're?
Trying to put everything together, get home.
No.
What's
Has anyone
up?
got a violin we could?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Go to bed.
Mhm.
Half the
Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to pay more attention to the language, the specific words I used. And what I want you to do is work together with a partner. So it'll be you two, you two, you two, you two, you two. I think somebody in each pair has a phone connected to the group. What you're going to do is go to a quiet place. It can be here, or it can be in the corner, it can be outside, somewhere where you can hear it very well. One person control the play and pause, the other person writes. So you're doing a dictation together. So you need to listen very closely and write down the exact words. And after 5 minutes, we're going to compare what you've written to the whole text. So are both of you going to write?
No.
You need to be in a quiet place?
Yes.
Will you have half a text or a whole text?
Whole text.
Do you know who your partner is?
Yep.
How long have you got?
5 minutes.
5 minutes, yeah. Thank you.
Can you repeat it, please? About Friday night.
What do you mean? It's more regular. Sunday is more
Regular.
regular. We go to church. Regular.
We go to church
We go to church.
in the morning
We
and
go
then
to well, Sunday is more regular. We go to church.
in the morning
Church.
and then
In the
morning
morning.
and
then
then we normally
then-
have lunch at home.
then we
normally
normally
have lunch.
have
Okay, so have you been able to write down the text that you heard?
Yes.
Okay. How do you feel? Are you pretty sure you've got it exactly right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to show you the original without the ums.
Yeah. But then that's not original.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. So yeah, no ums here. What I'd like you to do is just compare what you've written with the text here just for a minute or two. Make any corrections that that you need to make. Now, remember, we learned adverbs of frequency and we practiced them before we did this. Did you find any adverbs of frequency in this text?
sometimes.
Yes, there's a sometimes here. Normally, that's another one, yeah. Is that normally like always or sometimes or usually?
So at the end of this feedback, the trainees have basically helped me find all the adverbs of frequency and similar phrases.
What other phrases or words that tell you about frequency, how regular something is? Not just the words we learn, but any words. Pardon?
Regular. Sunday is more regular.
Yeah, typical. Sunday is more regular. So yeah. That's a comparative feature. What are we comparing?
Typical weekend. Yeah, comparing Sunday to
On a typical
Other days.
weekend. Yeah, Sundays to Saturdays. Sundays is more regular. What else?
On a typical weekend.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Oh, there's another normally here. What about this word here, might?
Yeah.
Is that to do with frequency in a way?
Yes.
Okay. Is it something that we always do?
No.
Never do?
No.
How much chance is there we might do this?
It's like possible.
Rarely.
Possibly, yeah, sometimes, like 50. How about this one? Maybe see family?
Oh.
Similar to Mike almost.
That's right, yeah. You're going to make a recording and post it to our WhatsApp group so everybody can hear about your typical weekend. You can use words or phrases from my text and you can use the present simple tense. You can start with Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's a logical order. What I want you to do is make notes on paper. Think about the activities you do and think about how often you do them. Think about what adverb you're going to use. And then when you're ready, again, go to a quiet place. You know the record button on your WhatsApp. Press record. Record your typical weekend, and then it's going to appear on our screen. And then as they start appearing, if you see somebody else's recording, I want you just to listen to it so that you can hear the language and hear about that person's life. So in the end, I hope we have several recordings that we can also think about how accurate is it, how different is it from our own lives. So do you know what you're going to do?
Yep.
Okay, what's the first part?
We're going to write
Yeah, make notes. Just activities or something else? Yeah, and how often you do it. Think of an adverb or a way to indicate how often. And then what are you going to do after that? Record it. Okay. So you can stop that now.
record that, so you
I'll do also from Friday night. On Friday night. Yeah, no. Ours is like separate. Better. Yeah, on Friday nights we usually go out for dinner.
That your life is so nice.
Dinner, right?
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
The group is quite disciplined here in terms of doing thorough planning before recording, but I think maybe the desire to use the technology is tempered a bit by the fact that it's going to be a kind of a public text and should be a quality one.
Okay, Saturday morning.
On Saturday morning, on a Saturday morning, on a Saturday morning,
Is it often?
I always.
I usually go to play pool on my team. That's by definitions.
On Friday, we usually go out for dinner. On a Saturday morning, I always take my daughters swimming. In the afternoons, I usually take my son for soccer practice.
As recordings are posted, they appear on the main screen. It's actually a bit easier to see in this phone screenshot.
Okay, and now you can start listening to each other's recordings as well. Just make sure you can hear it. Very similar, put your headphones on. And just listen to what everybody else has said. Is it similar or different to you?
Still recording.
Saturday mornings, I often go to the gym at 7 a.m. I usually teach basic activities. The rest of the afternoon, I always
Yusuf is live.
I can see that you've all made some really, I hope, wonderful recordings. Did you listen to recordings other people have made?
Yes.
Okay, which ones did you find interesting? Who else's recording have you listened to?
Yusuf.
Okay, and what did you learn about him?
He's very daddy-ish.
Okay, lots of responsibility.
Daughter, swimming, son, soccer. He's busy.
Okay.
Very busy.
Yeah. Did you hear lots of adverbs of frequency in the text?
Yes.
Were the verbs present simple?
Yep.
Okay. Well, it's still on. So which one should we play? We'll play one of them now. We'll see if we can all hear it. Let's play Dimitri's then, a nice one. Can you play yours, Dimitra?
Friday evenings, I usually eat out with friends and family. Saturday mornings, I often go to the gym at 7 a.m. I usually teach at Wits until noon. The rest of the afternoon, I always watch football. Every Sunday morning starts with a gym session, followed by a family lunch.
So I learned something about you actually, Dimitra. I didn't know you were a football fan. Oh, okay. So you share that one. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. That is the end of the lesson.
This was kind of an experiment, but I think it's clear that a lot of language was produced. I mean, these are TESOL trainees, but you know, they all produce texts with the target language in, and I think there is a thing where when you're listening to everybody else's text, there's so much exposure to the language. There's a motivation to produce a good text because you know that your peers are going to be listening, you know, and you can potentially save it. The fact that technology is in the classroom, I think, doesn't need to mean that there is no language input, and I think the task-based approach worked pretty well here. Some issues that I hadn't quite thought of is one of the members actually wasn't on the WhatsApp group. Somebody ran out of data. It would have been better to have headphones. There was people working in pairs when I hadn't stipulated they should be working individually. We definitely had fun, and I can't prove that there was more learning happening than if it had just been done on paper, but certainly a good way to embrace the technology and check it out.